As promised, I'm going to update my brick workflow. So I previously posted a tutorial, and I used a plugin called Walls and Tiles that works inside 3ds Max. I no longer use that, and the developer doesn't support that plugin either, and they're recommending that people migrate to their VP OmniTiles, which I subscribe to and I use. So let me close this, and I'm going to start with Acme. This is a free software. Just Google Acme Brick. And then I find a brick that's close, and the grout that is close, and I build an image of about, there's options here, 5, 10, 25. 5 is sufficient. So I'm going to save that. And I'm going to call it brick. Brick main, or let's go brick Acme. Okay, so now I'm going to open up Photoshop. Back in the day, I used to develop web pages. Back in the late 80s, early 90s. And what I'm going to show you now is used often to split up your web page. So you would design the web page in one sheet, and then you would slice it up so it loaded faster. And that is no longer applicable now. People don't design web pages like this anymore. But this is legacy technology. And even what I'm going to show you, it says legacy. So I'm going to open up that brick, and then you have these guides you can drag out. So right in the middle of the grout line, and then vertically as well. And then the slice tool, so there's two slice tools. You want to use these, not the slice select, you want to use the slice tool. Slice from guides, so you drag the guides out. And then you want to export, save for web legacy. I hope this doesn't go away because I use this technique all the time. And then it's going to create a folder which each of these boxes. Now I can't use the one that shows 2 half bricks. So I come in here and I delete the ones I can't use. So that gives me 15 unique bricks. So you want to get as many single bricks as you can. So I simply come in here and I move these guides. And then export again. It'll create that folder again, and it'll put those in the folder. And again, I'll delete the other ones I can't use. Again, there's 15 more bricks. So I'm going to rename these bricks. Brick diffused. I'm going to put them all in the same folder. Rename them all brick diffused. So now I have 30 unique bricks to use. I'm going to delete those. Okay. Now I'm going to use the OmniTile. Now you may ask, why don't I just use Acme brick and make it 25 by 25? That gives me enough, and I can use that. And you're right, except for when the bricks have different patterns. So most of the time, my buildings don't have one running bond. They may have running bonds stacked, all different, the same brick but different orientations. And Acme brick only gives you one, and that's the running bond. So I'm going to create a new. Okay, I got sidetracked here. Okay, you can have presets. There's default presets. You can create your own presets. I just go new. Textures. I'm going to point it to that folder that I created. Pattern. These are the presets. So I pick a pattern. There's herringbone, Flemish bond. Let's go to the running. That one should. Stack bond. Let's use that one. And then preview. So that's what it's going to look like. Here is where you do the tiling. So 20 by 20 is usually sufficient. Render settings. It kind of seems all over the place, all these boxes popping up, but you get, used to it pretty quickly. So you can go, 4K, 8K, 16K. 4K is usually efficient or sufficient. Let's go 8K just because. Render now. I'm going to actually see if I can stop it. I may have crashed it by trying to stop it. I was going to change the output path. Yep, crash and burn. So I'm going to kill that. Try it again. Textures, scan folder, pick that C temp folder. Pattern. I'm going to pick the stretcher bond. Then let's do preview. I'm going to go 20. 20. Render. I'm going to change my output path to that C folder. And then everything I leave up by default except for 4K. We said 8K. And then render now. It takes a second. And And while we're here, let's go to pattern. Let's do a, I don't know, let's do a basket weave. Preview. Same brick, different pattern. Okay, I'm done with this. Okay, and then I use this software called Shader Map. I don't need that folder or these extra files that I'm given, so I'll delete those. I'm going to open up that diffused. Now Shader Map creates the bump, normal, diffused. It doesn't create the diffused. It's rendering up here, you'll see. So that's the diffused. That's the one we opened. Normal. That looks to be the glossy or specular. That one's the displacement. This one's the ambient occlusion. And then when that's processed, it's going to give me a preview. And then I'm going to save all. So now I had the diffuse, the displacement, the bump, the normal that I can use to create my texture in 3ds Max. So I tell my clients it's a process. You know, I may spend a good hour building a texture, and then they'll, you know, I always tell them their, 30-second red mark may be a 2-hour process on my end. They can say, okay, let's do this brick. Well, that's another hour's worth of work. So make it very clear that there's a starting point, and if anything changes from that point, then we have to address it. So if I'm given a brick example, and I spend the time creating high-res, high-quality textures, then if that changes, that can accrue additional fees. And that goes for all the materials, all the modeling, all the geometry. I recently posted a project to be reviewed, and there was 286 comments. It's very easy to take that red pen out and start marking things up. And so if they know that they have to do their homework on their end, making sure they know what they want, and making sure if there's any changes after they see it, then somebody has to pay for those changes, and it's not going to be me. As you can see here, one brick takes quite a bit of work. These images are 8K, so they'll take a while to render out. But I'm going to end the video now because that's basically the end of my workflow in creating bricks.